Janet had always believed love could conquer everything. It was why she had married Kelvin, the man who loved her and made promises of forever. At their wedding, as she walked down the aisle in a beautiful gown, she thought nothing could break the bond they shared. But she was very wrong. There was another woman in Kelvin's life. Janet never thought of fighting against his mother. It began softly at first. On the morning after their honeymoon, Janet woke up to find her husband's phone ringing. The screen lights up with the name Mama. "Pick up," she said sleepily and yawning at the same time. But Kelvin ran out of bed as if the call was a matter of life and death. No, I will take it outside," he replied. Janet frowned but brushed it off. It was just his mother. Maybe she needed something urgent. That was the first bad seed Kelvin planted in me. Weeks later, Janet noticed patterns. Every dinner she cooked, Mama would call and ask Kelvin what he had eaten. If Janet made jollof rice, Mama would tell him rice was bad for his digestion. If she made vegetable soup, Mama would say too much oil could kill a man. It wasn't just the food. Mama chose the color of cotton for their home, the clothes Kelvin wore to work, even the bank he should use for savings. And Kelvin, the loving and attentive husband, obeyed without question. One night, as Janet lay in bed, waiting, Kelvin whispered into his phone in the balcony. She overheard. "Yes, Mama. I will talk to Janet about it. Don't worry. I can't let her make mistakes." Janet's blood ran cold. Mistakes? Since when did her decisions need his mother's approval? The first real confrontation happened at a family dinner. Mama sat across the table, her gold wrapper glittering under the chandelier light. She sipped her drink with the air of a queen. "So, Janet," Mama said, her voice dripping with sugar, "I heard you want to start a business, selling clothes." "Yes, Mama," Janet replied. "I have always dreamed of running my own boutique. Kelvin supports me." Mama's lips curved into a smile. That wasn't a smile at all. Oh, how sweet. "But my son doesn't need a wife who runs around a market. He needs a wife who takes care of the home. Isn't that right, Kelvin?" Kelvin froze. Janet looked at him, expecting him to defend her. Instead, he cleared his throat. "Mama just wants the best for us. Janet, maybe we should think about it." The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. That night, Janet confronted him. Kelvin, do you realize I'm married to you, not your mother? Why does she get to decide everything? Kelvin rubbed his forehead. Janet, please understand. Mama has always been there for me. She sacrificed everything to raise me after my father's death. I can't just ignore her. But you can ignore me, Janet snapped, her voice breaking. You promised me love, Kelvin, not a marriage where I compete with your mother. He placed his hand across her shoulder, but she replied, Take it off my shoulder. The tension grew thicker in the days that followed. Mama began visiting unannounced, criticizing everything Janet did. The way she folded clothes, the way she arranged the living room, even the way she addressed Kelvin. And then came the breaking point. One evening, Janet returned home to find Mama sitting in her living room, holding a bunch of house keys. Where did you get those keys? Janet demanded. Kelvin walked in behind her, looking guilty. I gave them to her for emergencies. Janet's heart stopped. Emergencies? Kelvin, this is our home, our private space. Mama's laugh echoed like thunder. Home? My dear, as long as my son lives here, this is my home too. Don't forget, I raised him before you even knew his name. Janet's hands trembled. For the first time, she realized this wasn't just a mother-in-law problem. This is a very serious war. And she wasn't sure her husband was on her side. Janet hardly slept at night. The words replayed in her head over and over. As long as my son lives here, this is my home too. She tossed and turned until daybreak. Her chest tight with anger and fear. This was not the marriage she had dreamed of. She had married Kelvin for love, but now she was living in a battlefield where every gesture of affection competed with Mama's shadow. The next morning, Kelvin left early for work. Janet stood at the window, watching his car disappear down the road. A part of her wanted to pack her bags and leave, but another part, stronger, refused to surrender. If Mama thinks she can control my marriage, she is mistaken, Janet vowed silently. But as she turned away from the window, her heart stopped. Mama was in the kitchen, humming softly as she stirred a pot of soup. What are you doing here? Janet asked, her voice sharp. Mama looked up with a smile, too sweet to be genuine. I'm cooking for my son, of course. He prefers my hand in kitchen. You are still a young lady. You are still learning. Janet's fist clenched. With all due respect, Mama, this is my home. You can't just come and take authority over my home, please. Mama's eyes hardened. The sweetness vanished. Listen, girl, I gave birth to him. I carried him for 9 months. You think a wedding ring makes you more important than me? You are just a visitor. Remember that. The words sliced Janet's heart open. Mama brushed past her, leaving the scent of pepper soup and authority hanging in the air. That evening, when Kelvin returned, Janet confronted him again. Kelvin, this has to stop. Your mother is controlling everything. Even the food in our kitchen is not mine anymore. But instead of sympathy, Kelvin sighed. Looking exhausted, Janet, why are you always fighting Mama? She is not your enemy. She is just love. And that's what exactly she's displaying. Janet's eyes widened. Too much, Kelvin. This is not love. It is obsession. She treats me like I'm stealing you from her. Kelvin rubbed his temples, avoiding her gaze. Please don't make me choose between you and her. The word stung. Don't make me choose. It meant he had already chosen. Later that night, unable to sleep, Janet crept downstairs for water. Voices low, urgent whispers. She looked through the crack of the door. Mama was there again, sitting with Kelvin. His face looked tense. His hands were tight. You must never tell her, Mama was saying, her voice firm. I know, Mama, Kelvin replied softly. But keeping secrets from Janet feels wrong. Mama slammed her hand on the table. If you want peace in this family, she must never know the truth about your father or about me. Janet's heart raised. She pressed a hand to her mouth to stop a gasp from escaping what truth. Kelvin looked conflicted, but finally nodded. All right, Mama, I won't say a word. Janet stumbled back from the door, her mind spinning. There was something dark buried in this family. Something Mama was determined to keep hidden. The next morning, Janet acted as if nothing had happened, but inside, she was on fire. She watched Kelvin laugh with Mama over breakfast. Their bond stronger than ever, and she realized something chilling. This wasn't just about a mother's love. This was about control. And Mama was hiding something big enough to destroy them all. That night, as Kelvin slept, Janet lay awake, staring at the ceiling. If I don't uncover the truth, I will lose my marriage. and I will lose myself. But she did not realize Mama had already sensed her suspicion, and Mama was the kind of woman who would do anything to protect her secret, even if it meant destroying Janet. Janet couldn't bear the weight of silence anymore. Every glance from Mama felt like a threat. Every word from Kelvin like betrayal. She knew if she did not uncover the truth, she would lose her sanity. So one afternoon, while Kelvin was at work and Mama was out visiting a neighbor, Janet entered the room. She searched through the drawers with trembling hands until she found a locked box. Hidden beneath stacks of old files, it looked untouched for years. Her heart pounded as she used a hairpin to peer it open. Inside, she found letters, faded but legible. They were written by Kelvin's late father. Only they revealed he wasn't dead. The letter spoke of a man forced to abandon his family after a scandal Mama had caused. Mama had accused him of infidelity, but the truth was she couldn't stand sharing her son's affection with anyone, not even her husband. The obsession that now consumed Kelvin's marriage had destroyed her own. Janet's hand shook as she pieced it all together. Mama had driven her husband away, and now she was trying to do the same with her son's wife. The door creaked behind her. "So you found out?" Mama's cold voice filled the room. Janet spun around, clutching the letters. Mama's eyes were blazing, her wrapper tied tightly, her face twisted like fury. "You don't understand," Mama hissed. "Kelvin is all I have. If I lose him, I lose everything. That is why I will never let you take him away." Tears stung Janet's eyes, but she too stood tall. Mama's love is not possession. You lost your husband because you couldn't share. Do you want to lose your son too? For the first time, Mama's face faltered. The word struck something deep. Kelvin entered, confused by the scene. What is going on here? Janet turned to him, holding the letters out. "Kelvin, your father did not abandon you." Mama pushed him away, and now she is doing the same thing to us. Kelvin's face drained of color as he read. His hands trembled. "Mama, is this true?" Silence. Then Mama broke down, tears streaming. "I was afraid of being alone. I thought if I controlled everything, I wouldn't lose you too." The room fell silent. The truth had shattered everything. It took months for healing to begin. Mama moved back to her own home after Kelvin with a heavy heart. Set boundaries for the first time in his life. Janet and Kelvin rebuilt their marriage slowly, painfully, but stronger now that the shadow had been brought to light. Mama eventually reconciled with her estranged husband, who returned after decades. It was awkward, filled with old scars, but at least the lies had ended. Janet learned one thing through it all: marriage is not just about two people, it is about courage. Courage to stand up for yourself, courage to set boundaries, and courage to protect love from control disguised as care. If you find this story interesting, please subscribe to my channel, like and share this video. Thank you.